Okay. Hello, my name is Art Willis, Duanesburg Town Historian, and I welcome you to this segment of Duanesburg Town Council meeting. Town Council meetings have been going on as a matter of record since at least 1809 to the present time. Regrettably, town records were destroyed by fire about 1830, which makes the first extant and intact town record meetings commenced in the year of 1832. It may be of interest to note that at the time we had the following official positions in the town: supervisor, town clerk, assessors, commissioner of highways, and justice of the peace, just as we have today. But the government of that era also included overseers of the poor, imagine that, tax collectors per se, commissioners of common schools, and inspectors of elections, plus constables. These are not with us today. Of course, Duanesburg was named in honor of James Duane, its principal proprietor, and the town was erected as a township by patent March 13th, 1765. It was first joined with Schoharie, but Duanesburg was made a separate district March 24th, 1772, and recognized as a town by what was then the County of Albany, March 22nd, 1788. Early on, James Duane contacted about 20 German families from Pennsylvania to begin settlements in this new patent. Lands were leased at $15 per annum on each of 100 acres, payable in gold, silver, or in labor or in kind, kind being, produce, geese or ducks or chickens or whatever. These arrangements led to prolonged discontent, which prompted tenants to become involved in the anti-rent wars reaching well into the 1860s. Of course, this was a problem all through the Hudson Valley and throughout the entire region. Duane also encouraged Quakers from the Four Corners sector of Dutchess County, New York, into the area, and who became the basis of the hamlets of Quaker Street and Quaker Street Depot, which is now, of course, called Delancey. Dutch, Massachusetts Yankees, and Scotch-Irish came in a steady stream from the late 18th century through the early 19th century. Duane went on to distinguish himself as a member of the Provincial Continental Congress in Philadelphia in 1774 and in the Second Congress in 1775, as well as being a central figure in the formation of New York state government during the American Revolution. James Duane became the first mayor of New York City. His daughters, Mary and Sarah, each married prominent early American luminaries. Mary married, of course, General William North, aide-de-camp to Baron von Steuben, and who enjoyed the confidence and friendship of George Washington, and was with him at Yorktown in 1781 when Lord Cornwallis surrendered. Sarah married George William Featherstonhaugh. By the way, that's pronounced Fanshawe in England for reasons that evade me. But with George William Featherstonhaugh, about whom we have more to say presently. It was said that Duane dreamed of making the capital of New York the general area of Duanesburg Four Corners, in what has become known as the Commons. Such is the stuff that dreams are made of. By 1790, Duanesburg had grown to 1,650 souls, which included these categories: white males and females, heads of households, and slaves. The town would reach its apex in the 19th century in 1870 at 3,042, under the categories of native, foreign, white, and colored. Then the town declined from about 1880 to 1950. until the numbers rallied to the year 2000 figure of 6,193. Through the years, Duanesburg remained a characteristically rural and farming area, increasingly indented as a bedroom community for the Tri-City area of Schenectady, Albany, and Troy, as reflected in Duanesburg's housing development and the completion of Interstate 88. The town's present layout remains much the same as it was throughout the 19th century. Large farmsteads dominate the landscape, with 4 hamlets and 1 village located at the crossroads of major thoroughfares. Many of the town's numerous farmsteads remain a substantial amount of their original, a substantial amount of their original acreage. Where modern subdivisions of historic farms have occurred, the general result has been the development of small parcels fronting thoroughfares, thereby preserving the integrity of historic farms. The town has been blessed with a variety of architectural styles, including Federal, Greek Revival, Italianate, Queen Anne Eastlake, and Colonial Revival, as well as 2 octagonal homes. Duanesburg contains at least 31 National Historic Register houses and 4 National Historic Register areas. In addition, Duanesburg is well endowed with beautiful natural sites, which comprise the Normanskill watershed, underlined by slate, bluestone, and hardpan soil. Included in this list would be the Christmas Sanctuary, Sheldon Falls, Harry Creek Gorge, Featherston State Park, Mariahville Lake, and Duane Lake. Duanesburg may also credibly lay claim to the early home of Benjamin Cummings, the reputed inventor of the circular saw, and all, of course, that implies, and of George William Featherston, linguist, scientist, musician, patron of Thomas Cole. Of course, Thomas Cole was kind of the founder of the Hudson River School of Painting. He was a diplomat and fellow of the Royal Society. Stephen Van Rensselaer and Featherston originated the idea of a railroad between Albany and Schenectady, and Featherston organized the New York State Agricultural Society. And finally, by 1907, Delanson had become the largest coaling station in the world. In short, Duanesburg has been and continues to be a vital town in the historical life of our state. The historical life of the town is centered in the activities of Duanesburg Historical Society, which meets the 3rd Monday of each month in Our Lady of Fatima Church at 7 p.m. Our president is Leonard Van Buren, vice president and program director Norman Collins, with Betty Vonk as treasurer. The society presents a program of historical interest each session and cordially invites all those interested in history and, of course, should you choose, your membership. Let me take this opportunity to present to listeners with the publications of our society under the capable editorship of Pat Van Buren. First on the list, maybe foremost, is a book entitled Duanesburg and Princetown, A Pictorial History. It's a marvelous book. True to its name, it is a pictorial history, and it contains all of the hamlets of Duanesburg, plus the village of Delanson. Another wonderful book, which was, this pictorial history was published in 2004. The footprint, the town of Duanesburg, a look at its past. This also was done by the Historical Society under the, compiled by William Tiffany Avery, edited by Pat Van Buren and Bill Massoff. And then a book that we reissued under the original town historian, Clarence Foote, footprints of Duanesburg and the Schoharie Valley, including anecdotal material. And then the most recent publication, which is an ongoing one, Remembering the Town of Duanesburg, Volume 1, anecdotal entirely from citizens in the town. And we're going to be putting out a second volume. The deadline on it, should you choose to contribute, the deadline on this would be early May, and we'll put it out in June. All of these books may be procured from the town clerk, Leah Lennon, or from Norman Collins or Pat Van Buren. It's also noteworthy that some of the work of the Schenectady County Historical Society, a marvelous group, they, working with us, put out the cemeteries of Duanesburg and Princetown. Duanesburg contains 55 cemeteries, actually 56. We just this last summer discovered yet another cemetery, rather extensive, how did we miss it, up on Darby Hill Road, a Briggs cemetery. So there are 56 cemeteries in Duanesburg alone. You could procure this, plus a very recent 2009 publication, A Short History of Schenectady County, which highlights there are 5 towns in the county of Schenectady. And Bill Buell, the journalist of the Schenectady Gazette, wrote this, and I highly recommend it. You can get these, both the cemeteries and Bill Buell's book at the Schenectady County Historical Society. And then finally, we have had a number of regional historians at large. One who very sadly just passed away, Bill Massoff, who did one on Mariahville. But we also had Warren Little, and Warren has passed away at some time, but wrote numbers of wonderful little histories. You may have to search hard for those, but some of them would be Duanesburg, Land of Mills, Other Days, Other Ways, The Way We Were, and finally, we excerpted this from the Howell and Tenney book on the history of Schenectady and Albany counties. It is a wonderful early history of Duanesburg, and you can also get this from Leah Lennon. It'll give you an excellent history from the very beginning of Duanesburg to 1885. Speaking of which, please enjoy the upcoming town council meeting as history continues to express itself immediately following this brief summary of Duanesburg history. Thank you very much for listening.